Hello, my amazing artist. In this lesson, we are going to learn about the art of printmaking and the art of weaving. To begin, we're going to focus on printmaking, which is the background here on the circle. So first thing, write your name and class code onto your circle. You want to write it on the side that's more shiny and slippery. Then on your shield at your table group, you're going to select a couple paints. I would suggest 4 to 5 different colors, and you're going to squirt out some of the paint onto the plastic shield. Now, here's a warning. The less paint you use, the better it will look. If you use too much paint, you're going to have a big mess. We end up wasting the paint, and it doesn't really look that good. So trust me, start with a little bit of paint, and you can always add more if you need it. Okay, after you have sprayed out a couple of the paint colors that you want, then you can use these tools to create different textures. I want you to experiment using these tools with the paint to create a variety of different textures that you will then print onto a piece of paper, and you will eventually print onto your cardboard circle. But give yourself time, explore, play around with the paint, see how you can use these tools in a way that maybe you wouldn't think of at first. When you like how the texture looks, you're going to get paper and you're going to create what's called a mono print. This is a mono print because mono means one, and the print you're going to make is only going to have one copy. So I'm putting my paper down on top of the paint. I'm giving it a massage. I'm making sure all the edges are laying flat. And then I'm going to pull up my paper and voila, look at that mono print. The texture looks so cool on it. Now there's still a lot of paint on my shield, so I'm going to continue making more prints. This will be a different print now because it's going to look a little different, but I'm going to repeat the same process. My goal here is to try to print all of the paint onto the white paper so that I don't waste any of the paint, and it actually helps me with my cleanup. Today's focus is to create a lot of mono prints and to experiment with texture and using different colors to create a beautiful color scheme. You're going to be printing on your paper today. We will be printing on our circle next class. Before you leave class today, it is an expectation that you clean your shield. So listen, artists, the more paint you use, the harder your cleanup will be, right? So be mindful when you are pouring out the paint. You do not want too much. It will waste the paint, and honestly, the texture does not look as cool. So once everyone is done printing on their paper, you are going to clean off your shield. Use a dry paper towel for this because the paint is still wet. You may also use a baby wipe for this, and the baby wipes are great for your hands, for cleaning up our tables, and cleaning up the shield, of course. Hello, artists. Now that we've had some practice creating mono prints, you're going to print onto your cardboard circle today. You want to make sure that you are printing on the side that has the cardboard texture, not the side that is shiny and smooth. If you print on that side, when the paint dries, it will actually peel off and you'll be disappointed because your work will not be there anymore. This is a requirement today. You need to print onto the cardboard circle so that you have texture on it. This is our last day of printmaking this week, so if this does not get done today, then your cardboard circle will be plain and you will be weaving on just a plain cardboard circle. So make sure that you print onto your cardboard circle by the end of class today. If you finish on your cardboard circle, you are welcome to make as many mono prints as you would like. When it is time to clean up, same expectations. We need to clean that shield so the other class can use it tomorrow. Hello, my amazing artists. Today we are going to learn how to transform this cardboard circle into a loom. A loom is the device or the frame on which you weave. So we have to mark our loom today. We're going to use this template. So place the template on top of your circle and make little notch marks around, kind of like a clock. We need to have a total of 15 notches on your loom. I am holding the template still as I mark the notches. That way the spacing is correct. I am also making sure that I have put the notch marks on the side where I see my name. Next, you're going to label each of the notches by numbering them. You're going to go in numerical order from 1 to 15. After numbering the notches, you are now going to cut the notches. So notice I'm just doing a small little cut on each of those notch marks that I made. It does not need to be very big, but it does need to be big enough so that yarn can go through each of those notches. Again, you need a total of 15 notches. Now we are going to use white yarn to dress the loom. This is where we are going to set up the warp strings. So first thing, find where it says 1, and you're going to have the tail of the yarn right where my finger is be at the number 1 notch. Get a little piece of tape. You can just rip it with your fingers and tape that tail of the yarn down. This is going to stay there. Now, if I look at the front of my loom, I'm going to drag the yarn across and go to 8. Now go through notch 8. So I went from 1 across to 8. Now I'm going to go next door to 9. I am creating a pattern. My pattern is across the loom, next door, across the loom, next door. So let's look. I just went next door to 9. So across the loom to notch 2. I went across, so next step is next door to 3 and across the loom to 10. I'm in 10. You're going to go next door to 11. There you go. Put it through the notch. From next door, I go across the loom and I go to 4. 4 goes next door to 5, then across to 12. Twelve goes next door to 13. Then 13 across to 6. 6 goes next door to 7. 7 goes across to 14. 14 goes next door to 15. And for this last one, you don't go across, but I'm actually gonna scrunch up all of my strings in the middle there. Place the end of that yarn, see in my hand, that end of it. I'm gonna place it underneath all those strings I've bunched together, and I just made a big loop. So my idea here is that I'm going to loop them all together around one central point to make this look like the wheel on a bicycle tire. And there you go, artist. I know I'm done when I have 15 white lines. So count your loom and make sure you have 15 of the white lines. They're all coming together and meeting in one central point in the middle. That was a lot of work. We have officially dressed the loom. So now that our warp strings are attached, it is time to use the weft yarn. The weft yarn is going to be the colorful yarn that goes over and under the warp strings. So to use yarn today, you're going to get a yarn monster. You choose one color you like, go near the knot that I've tied and cut off that one piece of yarn. Okay, to begin our weaving, here's how you're going to attach the very first strand that you're using. To make this easy, you're going to tie the colored string around one of the white strings. I just go under the white one, loop it around to make a big circle. It's going to go under in that circle and you pull to make the knot closed. And that's it. You just need to tie it to one of the white strands and now we're ready to start weaving. So take the tail of the end of that string and you're going to go under one of the white strands, over the next, under the white, over the white, under the white, over the white. You're making a pattern. And then I pull my colored strand through so that the weaving's going to be nice and tight. So let's check the pattern. I was over that last one, so that means I go under my next one. Over, under, over, under, over, under. When I'm about halfway around the little circle, I'm gonna pull my colored strand just so nothing gets knotted and it ends up keeping the weaving pattern nice and tight, which is what you want. And this pattern simply continues. You're going over under the white strands, and you're making circles as you are weaving. I'm going to fast forward so you can see what to do when you run out of your colored strand. So I have a little bit left of the yellow, but I'm about to run out. So I get my yarn monster and I'm going to cut off a new strand. You could keep the same color if you want, or change up your color and you could create a pattern or really whatever you would like. So I cut my new strand and I'm going to tie the new strand to the old strand. How I like to do this is I lay both strands down parallel like this. They're going to both go back, make a big loop, and they're going to go under the loop, into the loop, and I'll pull. So here we go, into the loop. I hold on to the tails, and I'm going to hold on to the other part and pull. And there you go. I just tied those two strands together. And next, you guessed it, you just continue the pattern. So I had to check where I was. Looks like I am over. So I'm going to go under. This time when I pulled the strand through, I can see that little excess yarn left over from tying the knot. So what I found was easiest is I can kind of pull it out just like that, and then I'm just gonna hide it underneath the other woven part. So literally just tuck it underneath and no one's gonna be able to see it. Really easy way to kind of make your weaving look a little tighter and more organized without seeing the tails of the knotted strings. So my goal is to continue weaving, and I'm trying to fill in most of the cardboard circle. It is really up to you how far out you want it to go, but I do want to see most of your loom filled with woven circles. When you are done and it's really filled in your loom, One idea is you can simply just tuck the tail of that last strand under your other woven parts. Or if you would like to tie it off, you can make a knot around the closest warp string. So I'm going to make a little circle. It's going to go underneath into the circle and out to make a knot. It is 100% okay to just tuck in the strand. You do not have to tie a knot. That is up to you. All right, friends, but there you go. You have just finished and created your first woven artwork. In this project, we combined printmaking and weaving, and I cannot wait to see what you make.